parents and kids, you need to understand this. We as the parents grow up being the manager when you're 4 years old, you're 8 years old, and we really think when you hit adolescence and the stakes go up, where grades matter in a different way, where drugs are around, where alcohol's around, where cars are around, that you're still going to want us to be the manager. You know, that's our fantasy. It's a big fantasy we have. The reality is, at some point during adolescence, and for some kids it's 11 years old, for some it's 14 years old, but there comes a moment in time, and probably every family can remember when you got the message, is that they do this, and they do it in a pretty unceremonious way, is that they fire you as the manager of their life. and it's basically, I'll take it from here, leave me alone. And for parents, when we get fired, we don't take it real well. And parents that have been successful managers tend to go in a couple of different directions. The first direction is to really treat it as a wrongful termination and litigate for the next 3 or 4 years. You know, you didn't have the right to fire me, I'm going to say, and litigation doesn't work for anybody. So, but they become the micromanagers. And kids, you know the parents that are the micromanagers. They want you to do the homework between 7 o'clock and 9 o'clock. They want to look at, they want to be with you all the time. They're checking on you all the time, and you feel like you're just looking for a breath of freedom because they're all over you, and you're not having a chance to make your own decisions. And those students, those kids are really looking for freedom somewhere. On the other side, we have the parents that when they get fired, they go, oh, you know, didn't see this coming. Okay, well, good luck. You know, the last one up at night, you know, make sure the dog's in, and first one up, let the dog out and let us know. And this is relative abandonment. And kids don't want this either. Kids don't want the micromanager, but they also don't want to be abandoned either. Because these are the kids whose parents, after a while, have checked out. And these are the kids that can have the big parties and have alcohol and drugs at the parties that seem like they're cool at some point, but these kids are missing the connection to their parents. And these parents are just, you know, they're just imagining that they're in adulthood. They get fooled because you guys look like you're older than you are in some ways. Fortunately, there's a third option. You don't have to be the micromanager, and you don't have to abandon your kids. The third option is that when you get fired, you know, you deal with it. You know, you deal with your own grief about this because you know you're going to miss your kids in some ways. And then what you do is you work hard to get rehired as the consultant. And if you think of it this way, the paradigm, I mean, the old-time paradigm of management is face-to-face like this. A consultant is much more side-by-side, or actually it's probably half a step back in out of the peripheral vision. And that's where most of our kids want us. They don't want us to go away completely, but they want us to be there when they need us. And they want us to know that they're out of the corner of their eye, that we're always available to them. And as a consultant, you're going to think in different ways. You're not going to think about control. The reality is you don't have control of your kids' lives. You cannot control your kids' lives. And this scares us as parents. You do, however, have influence over them, a fair amount of influence. And you have to choose wisely. Where do you want to use your influence? Do you want it to be about them making big decisions on a Friday night when they're out with friends and someone's doing something wrong, and that's where your influence comes to play? That's where I want it to come from. Want it to show up. Or do you want it to show up and to make sure they get to school and get to class on time each day? I mean, that's important, but this is a health and safety one. And that's where, as parents, we want to use our influence.